My main objective in life is how can I connect with more people? And the business usually takes care of itself. Once you make a relationship, the business just flows. Hey, it's time to increase engagement. And I've got proven strategies that you can apply immediately in your business.
Thank you, Bug. This is Pavel with Virtudesk, and we're with the Leverage podcast, and we're talking to Buck Weiss. Buck Weiss is the owner of Closing Day Consulting. It's a digital marketing agency. He's a former chief marketing officer of Cardone Ventures. The guy used to work with Grant Cardone, and co-founder of a major digital agency, Weiss Property Group. So thank you for talking to us, Buck, and thank you for your time.
You got it. Absolutely. Happy to be here,
brother.
Well, I always love to connect with people. That's like my main objective in life is how can I connect with more people? And the business usually takes care of itself. Once you make a relationship, the business just flows. And so people say, join my podcast. I'm like, let's go. Let's make it happen. Let's get on it.
Yeah. Well, Buck, so we could actually start our, the conversation. I just wanted to get your story. I mean, so tell us what's Closing Day Consulting, who's Buck Weiss, and what's Buck Weiss' story. I like to get people's stories.
It was a cold evening in Dallas, Texas. 1978 was the year. No, I'm kidding. I won't go that far back. I'm not going to go that far back. But yeah, I was born in Texas, raised in Florida. I'm a Florida kid. I'm definitely, yeah. So for anyone, if that gives you any sort of stereotypes, not Miami, by the way, very international. I'm more Central Florida. So think flip-flops and chitlins, very different.
Okay, there we go. That's your story. Okay.
That's exactly it. No, but I started at a very young age as a middle child. I started in TV and radio at 17 years old because I loved creating. I loved the microphones, the cameras, the content, the audience, the engagement, the community. And I learned all of those aspects as a kid. Just, other kids were playing sports, dude. I was in a studio in high school. I was in a television production studio. My first job at 17 years old was instructional technology for the county, Polk County, Florida, Central Florida, where I would go around to all the high schools and I would build studios. They were like, Buck knows how to build studios. He's like, hooks up all the cameras and mics and switchers and boards. And
so that was around the early 90s, I bet, right?
It was. Yeah. And back then you had JVC dockable cameras that weighed 400 pounds.
I remember those, yeah.
Beta tapes and all that stuff. And so I've always
this is for those not actually the millennials, but the Gen Zs who have no idea what we're talking about.
No idea. Yeah, no, this is old school. So back in the day, there used to be something called radio where there were FM signals and people would turn in on their car and listen to radio stations. They're like, no, I'm on Spotify and YouTube. I don't know what radio is. But I did. I went into radio and I really learned that creative craft of how to create content, how to be compelling. I wasn't so much on the data side or the strategy side because, when you're learning the creative elements of media and you're just getting started, those are the most shiny objects inside of a marketing strategy is like the execution, the fun stuff. Like, let's come up with an idea and let's try it out and see if it works. But it was later in my career when digital started to emerge, when Zuckerberg came out with the Facebook, and Tom came out with MySpace. The Facebook, and Tom had MySpace, and brands were like, ooh, do we get on these? How do we get on these? Like, everybody wanted to break it. And radio and TV were surprisingly very against digital. They were like, I don't know if you remember this, but they were like,
I do.
It's a competitive platform. They're going to steal our media dollars. And I was like, wait. Let's leverage the digital to drive occasions of watching and listening on broadcast. Let's use the platform. It's like, look, in radio, you would take calls, which is a communication device. Why can't I use Twitter? Why can't I use Twitter?
Yeah,
that's exactly it. So I started working through that of how to use digital to drive traditional, and I started my own agency by accident. The Detroit Tigers asked me if I would work for them. I started hiring employees, then Imagine Theater, Valvoline Oil, Chevy Racing, North American International Auto Show, all these brands. And one client would introduce me to another client. And before I knew it, I was like, shoot, I got to pay taxes. I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I'm building a company. right?
Yeah, one of those things, right?
Yeah, it's like, I didn't set
Yeah,
out to
dude.
be an entrepreneur. I wanted to create. I was a bespoke creative. I loved the creation side of things, but then I was like, oh, there's more money in the business side if you can learn how to own something and scale it. And so that's exactly what I did. I sold my agency to the world's largest holding group and started working for really big brands. So then, as part of my deal, I would work with Nike and Starbucks and Google and lots of big brands. So I learned everything from this. The reason I give you this part of my history is I
Mhm.
know what it's like when you're trying to make your first dollar or hire your first person or fire your first person. But I
Oh yeah.
also know what it's like to have a photo shoot that costs $30,000 with a team of 80 people in one day because you've got a $1 billion Fortune 100 brand building out a massive campaign. And so from the agency space, I'll go really fast for you so we can get to the good stuff. From the
Yeah.
agency space, I was plucked out by Mr. Cardone, and I was his chief marketing officer for his business management company, where I helped scale this company from 0 to 82 employees in less than 3 years. And more importantly, 0 to 42 million with about 60% profit margins. I mean, just an unbelievable
That's
experience.
amazing.
It
That's
was
amazing.
great. It was a great
Yeah.
learning experience.
Yeah.
And, I learned a lot, and I take a lot of those learnings with me and I apply it in my business now. And I consult brands all over the world. I work with Ryan Serhant out of New York. He's one of my clients. I've got
Yeah. He's a real
real
estate
estate
agent. Big
real
one.
estate
Yeah.
agent. Yeah, Bravo $1 million listing, Bravo TV.
Yeah.
I work with EXP as a brokerage. I work with real estate agents of all backgrounds, Remax. Doesn't matter. I'm agnostic to where you work. But then I also work with
You're
dance
brand neutral.
studios.
Yeah.
I'm very neutral when it comes to the
Yeah.
brokerage.
Brand
Although
neutral. Yeah.
my wife
Yeah.
is EXP, so if you hate your brokerage, you should talk to my wife. But don't talk to me. I'm not going to convert you. Um,
Yeah.
but I do work with all different kinds of businesses. I work with a beauty brand right now. I work
Mhm.
with a shelving company. I work with landscape companies. I've got a dance studio because business really is the same no matter what the vertical is. The principles of business are the
They
same
are the same
equation.
across the
Same
board. Yeah.
equations.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Exactly.
nuances change.
Of course.
So there's
Yeah.
my life story. You got it. How good did I do? Less than 10
You did
minutes?
amazing, bro. You did amazing. That's what I wanted to get it. Just like, the compound life story of Buck Wise.
That's it, man.
And that's what you are, closing day consulting right now. You're running your own shop. So,
Mhm.
I mean, you're constantly, we looked at your content and you're constantly posting in different platforms, and I can see there's a lot of engagement from the viewers. So tell me how you do that. How do you keep your audience engaged with your content, and what makes, how do you make it so engageable, so to say?
I love that question. I'm actually doing a workshop tonight with about 60 business owners, and they're all coming
Wow.
to learn that exact question. By the way, they paid hundreds of dollars to be there. But for anyone listening or watching this now, we're going to give away
That's
how to
some
do
goodies
this
for you guys. Some
for
value,
free.
big value.
People, literally, business owners are paying
Yeah.
hundreds of dollars to come tonight, right? But I'm
Yeah.
gonna deliver this because you love to give value to your audience, and I see you doing the same thing.
We do, bro.
Because you do that, I'm going to deliver back to them. I'm giving to you because
Love
you
it.
give back. The first question is, do you think the attention span of the consumer goes up or down each year? That's the first question.
It's down, dude.
There's no question.
Yeah.
The average time spent looking at one asset on a social platform like this used to be about 7 to 8 seconds. 1,
Wow.
2, 3, 4, 5. Next, 1, 2, 3. It's down now this year. The average time spent on one asset is close to 2 seconds. What that means is the consumer will give you less than 2 seconds to decide, do I like this or do I not? That's it. That's all you have. And when you put that into perspective and you watch people's content and they go like this: hi, everybody. Today is so beautiful. It's so great. I'm feeling great. I hope you're feeling great.
You lost, dude.
You're gone. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah.
So the average person, that is the very first thing. I don't even have to get technical. I can watch your content right now and tell you lose everybody in the first 2 seconds. The only one that wants to hear how you're doing or what you're feeling today is your mom. She's the only one going to engage with you. You know what I mean? Is your cousin Ricky, Even your Uncle G doesn't want to watch it. Like half your family's already out,
Yeah.
So it is there's strategy and tactic. And it is a strategy. There is a strategy that you need to follow, but there's tactics that go along with that strategy. So the first word that anybody should think about when they're creating content and they want to get more engagement is impact. You've got to create impact. Well, how do you do that? Well, then my next question would be, who are you talking to? Because the impact that you want might be very different from the impact that I want, right? Exactly. If I said, here's 3 ways to build your own daycare, you're in the virtual assistant business. You don't want to hear how to build a daycare. It's not impactful to you, right? But I've got a business owner building a daycare right now, and she'd love to know about it, right? So you got to know who you're talking to know what they care about. You got to understand the attributes and the content pillars of who you're speaking to. So knowing who you talk to is also a huge key in making content more engaging. And here's how I know. Do you know the first way I know if somebody has no clue what they're doing? It's very simple.
Yeah. Tell me.
Wide versus narrow. Wide versus narrow. When I hear somebody say, let me give you a good example, real estate agents. By the way, you have a lot of real estate agents. I know last time I was on your webinar, I think I had like 30 real estate agents follow me on Instagram last time I was on your webinar.
Most likely, because we have a lot of real estate agents.
That because I did not expect real estate agents, which is for some reason, just because of my experience in real estate and my wife in real estate, they love. It's like I don't even try to attract real estate; it just comes to me. But I was shocked. Last time I did your webinar, I had like 30 agents. So I'll use that as an example, just as a general example. But wide versus narrow. I'm the best real estate agent. You should hire me to buy or sell or invest. If you're looking for the best, I'm the one.
You lost him. You lost the consumer right there.
Here's what you did. You went after a buyer, a seller, and an investor. Not only were you not impactful when you started, but you mentioned if you're ready to buy or you're looking to sell or an investment property, I'm the perfect real estate. You went wide. What that tells me is you don't know who you're talking to. Instead, you're taking a net, throwing it out and seeing how many minnows you can get. Instead of, I know the percentages in this county is that divorce rates are climbing exponentially. And I know selling a home during a divorce procedure is one of the most difficult things you can go through. You see what I'm doing now?
So data is very important. It's knowing your data.
It's not just the data of who you're talking to, but it's the data that gives you credibility in the fact that you know more than they know. And so it's using data, but also see how specific I went after someone selling their home, but not just selling their home in a specific county, going through a divorce. Put those filters on your content. Now you're going after
3 clients.
That's right.
Deals.
Well, it's
3 deals. 1 sale, 2 purchases.
It's a seller in this county going through a divorce. It's a very specific person.
Yeah.
It's not me and it's not you. So you're trying to you're spear fishing your target. So you're going right after the person that makes the most sense. So that's the biggest piece of advice: have impact and go after that person. I would say, let me give you one last concept here. And by the way, I do a 6-hour workshop, and I would love to have you attend one of my virtual workshops or come in person. If you're interested, there are different dates, different locations. I would love for you to just give me a follow on Instagram @AboutBuck, and I'd be happy to give you the dates and help you out with your content. But this is the last piece I'll give you: transactional versus transformational. Transactional.
That's a good one.
So call to action.
Please explore in this one. Yeah, please explore in this one, because not a lot of agents may be actually understanding the whole concept of being transactional versus transformational. So
sure. Yeah. So the call to action, what they call the CTA, is where you actually make the connection point. It's like, hey, you got their attention, you showed you had credibility, you proved the value of what you know. Now the question is, this is the big question: how do we make the engagement? I mean, that's really what we're talking about. How do we increase engagement? Well, to increase the engagement, you got to keep them interested. That was the first part. We covered that.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
But how do we get okay, they watched it, they liked it, but then nothing happened. Buck, I didn't get any likes. I didn't get comments. Nobody clicked anything. They didn't come in. I hear this all the time. And the problem is, one, we are responsible for the call to action. When we leave it up to them, hey, just give me a call, click the link, text me, whatever you got time for. Be very specific about where you want people to go and what you want them to do. Notice I said, come to my Instagram and shoot me a message. I just want to meet you. About
you just basically give them a direction, what to do.
Very clear. Too many people think that they can just make content and then people are going to reach out. No, tell them what you want them to do. It's amazing to me that somebody will create content and then let it just end with no call to action whatsoever. So tell them what you want them to do. And then remember this, how can your call to action add value? My value is I want you to learn how to create better content. So shoot me a DM and I'll help you do that. That's my value. Not give me your money and buy my program. Right? There's transactional versus let me support and help you. Yeah. So like, let me help you mediate the divorce, the selling of your house through your divorce. Not, I'm the best real estate agent. You should work with me. That's transactional. That's like, give me your money and I'll give you a service. No, let me
basically advertising yourself versus actually showing value to them and providing value to your potential customer.
Right. That's right. Yeah. With the real value is not selling their house. The real value is keeping the peace.
Oh yeah, exactly. Buck, so one of your campaigns from years ago continues to stand out. The one where you made for Starbucks, and it's a pumpkin spice latte campaign, was very successful. Yes. So got a lot of engagement. So do you think the major role, do you think the data played the major role in your marketing strategies there, or?
Sure. Data always plays.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. Data always plays the biggest part, but what really drove success in this, we called it the real PSL campaign. If you ever want to Google it, what really drove the success of 20% increase of revenue from the year before is that we studied who is the drinker of a pumpkin spice latte. So what we call the persona. We knew instead of, again, wide net spearfish. Instead of saying everybody should love pumpkin spice, no, we went after that core drinker, the ones that love pumpkin spice, the biggest influence and ambassadors, because those personas are on the right side of FOMO. And so they're sharing their experiences through social, and they're influencers in their own micro networks, allowing other people to trial pumpkin spice. And so, we spent 6 months and millions of dollars researching who loves it, who hates it, competitive pumpkin spice. Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, Yankee Candle has a pumpkin spice. Durex condom has a pumpkin spice. Literally every brand has a pumpkin spice. And so the question was, how do we stand out? And the way you stand out is by going directly after the core consumer instead of broadly advertising what you do. We talk about why we do it and only talk about it to the person who makes the biggest impact on revenue, which is the pumpkin spice drinker.
Wow. So you actually save money by actually going exactly to the core, to the target of those people that you want to actually go buy pumpkin spice latte.
You nailed it. It's the biggest ROI you can get. Instead of spending your money across lots of different segmented audiences,
see whatever sticks. Yeah.
It's called shooting from the hip. In the South, they call it spaghetti on the fridge and see if it sticks. Right? Yeah. It's like, that's wasting money. Instead, do the research now. Don't wait till your campaign launches. Do it now and learn really who they are. And then the first thing every owner says is, I don't know how to get that. How do I get that? Well, you break your data down. There's 3 types of data. Data number 1, you own it. You've got the data.
Yeah, you got to.
Do you have past clients?
Yeah.
Can you call past clients and ask them these 5 questions? How did you make the decision? What research did you do? What do you do on a daily basis? What does a day in the life look like for you? Who else do you get advice from? What's the one thing that you'd like to know before you make a decision? What are the 3 things that happen that make you not want to make a decision? If you have past clients, you should be asking them the questions on the regular. This is how you learn who your customers are. Now, do we ask the customers that are the lowest paying customers or the highest paying customers? The highest. Because what we want to do is replicate that exact persona of the highest paying customer. So go back and look at your books and get the 5 highest paying customers from last quarter, last year, wherever. And I want you to ask them questions. Those questions are going to directly correlate to the results. How much money is attracted or attached to that data point depends on the question you ask. So what questions will you ask them? When's your birthday? Okay. Does the birthday help you drive more revenue? Like if you knew how old all those personas, maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Maybe they won't. Yeah.
What do you have any seasons in your business where you don't spend money or do spend money? That might help you understand when to launch campaigns. What are the 3 biggest challenges that you have in your business? If you find a trend line of your top 5 clients that they all have these 2 challenges out of the 3, they all said these 2, guess what your content pillars become when you spearfish them? Those 2 challenges.
That's
your
like
issue is,
you're running your business by design, basically, not just throwing spaghetti on the fridge.
100%. That's exactly it. That is exactly it.
Dude, yeah. I love it. I love it. Buck, so I mean, you obviously have a team, right? It's essential to create a data-driven campaigns. You gotta have a good team to help you out. And
that's right.
Us being a virtual assistant company, I mean, Virtudesk, we obviously rely a lot on my marketing team, like who helps with video editing, who helps with with the content creation, everything. So how big is your team? How big is your marketing team? And and do you actually use virtual assistants for your?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I've had a great virtual assistant. Her name's Aubrey, and she's amazing. She's just graduated college with her 4-year degree, and she's going into law school. She is smart, like crazy smart. And I couldn't do what I do without her. I have EAs, assistants, project managers,
you gotta have
editors, designers, copywriters, things like that, right? Funnel builders. But Aubrey is my virtual assistant. She really is like an executive project manager. And she's essential to the business. And the good news is, for anything that's not a live event, I do live events, but everything outside of that, look, we live in a virtual economy now anyway. It's like it used to be like this, oh, can we do this virtually? Well, yeah, everybody does everything virtually now. Everything but a live event, but that's what promotions coordinators and marketing managers are for. They hit the grounds. But like for all the strategy of the business and all the building of the back end and the design, I mean, it's easy to do virtually. And so it's key. It's key.
And you're on the road a lot. I know last time we talked, you were on the road, and you go on the road. You also speak with your team virtually. You communicate with your clients virtually, I'm sure.
That's right.
So it's just that world that we right now live in. You can have people across town or across the world working for you and doing the same thing.
That's exactly it. And it's a great, great experience. It's awesome.
Yeah. So how do you manage the people that work for you? I mean, what's the process of making sure that everyone is on track? I mean, how do you ensure productivity?
Yeah, you're going to love this because you've said the word about 15 times in this podcast. In fact, the editors should go back and they should put a quick sizzle together. It does a little ding noise every time you said this word. So it's going to go ding, 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 and they're going to count it.
That's a good idea.
Okay, that's a note to your editors, whoever's editing.
Yes.
Okay?
Gab, you're listening. You got it done, brother.
The word is data. How many times have we said data? Right?
A lot. Yeah.
There's accountability in the data. And so the first job of any owner or manager is to know the role KPIs. Every role has a KPI. And every day you should be tracking the KPIs of the role so that you know whether the business is scaling, sustaining, or slipping. The 3 S's. Is it scaling, sustaining, or slipping? And that employee has numbers, and those numbers will directly correlate to the goal of the company. And if they're not hitting their numbers, it's a fortune-telling indicator that the business will lack too. If they don't hit their KPIs and another employee doesn't hit KPIs then the business is going to miss the mark. So if you don't track the KPI of the employee, how many calls, how many appointments, how many closes, how many projects, how quick did they get done? How many video? I mean, even if let's take a video editor, right? How many videos? What platforms? How many were finished? How many revisions? Wow, the KPI is no more than 2, but we're on 4. What's going on? Are you not listening? Are we not communicating? Do we have the wrong platform? Why are we doing 4 revisions when we only need 2? The KPI was 2. Like everyone has KPIs. Every role has a KPI. It's not just salespeople that use KPIs. It's everyone has efficiency KPIs. And so that to me is the biggest way to keep track and accountability to the employees.
Love that. Love that. And I think the strategy is very effective, because, you can really literally gauge your business productivity and activity. I mean, at Virtudesk, we have several clients who use our executive assistants and to manage their teams, and they do create accountability, milestones for them as well. So, so having someone oversee your team helps you zero in on more important aspects of your business, such as nurturing client connections, networking, strategizing, collabs with your partners. So EAs are equipped with the leadership skills necessary to manage the team of other VAs. That's what we got going on. So so that's pretty good. The KPI, I love the 3 assets: the scaling, sustaining, and slipping. I actually just wrote it down, dude.
That's it, man.
I'm gonna use it. Yeah, I love it.
Business can only do 3 things. That's it. So the question, when you wake up every morning as the owner of your company, today, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because it can only do 3 things. And you don't know what it's doing unless you know where you're going. So you got to have the goal, and then you got to have the daily KPIs. Today, we are on track or off track. That's it.
That's it. Love it. Well, Buck, I know we're a little bit on time, short on time. So I want to thank you for your time, brother.
Always.
We got to wrap it up. So it's been nice talking to you, and I hope to see you, again,
It's always a pleasure. And anytime you want to jump on, man, you let me know, because I love you support me and I love supporting you. And so it's a great partnership. I really do appreciate it.
Likewise.
Okay, dude.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I'll see you guys.
Bye-bye.